Okay, let's unpack this. The fashion world in 2025. It presents a fascinating puzzle, really.
Hmm.
We're looking at, well, predicted low single-digit growth in revenue. Sounds kind of uneventful on the surface.
Right. Doesn't sound like much is happening.
But if you dig just a little deeper,
Yeah.
wow, you find some really significant shifts going on, big changes.
Yeah.
And these shifts, they're going to impact, what ends up in your closet, maybe where you buy it, even how brands try to connect with you.
Uh-huh.
So this deep dive, it's all about cutting through that surface level quiet to figure out what's really going on underneath.
And what's so intriguing is the dynamic below that kind of steady forecast. It's not just small tweaks.
No.
We're talking fundamental changes in how the industry works and maybe more importantly, how we as consumers interact with it all. It's being reshaped.
Exactly. And to, get a handle on these changes, we've got the State of Fashion 2025 report right here. Think of it as our map for what's coming.
Good guide, yeah.
It's packed with insights from Mckinsey experts, people like Anita Belchandani, David Bareillet, Colleen Baum, Daniel Zipser, Joelle Grunberg.
Some heavy hitters.
Yeah, and perspectives from the business of fashion, too, like Mark Bain and Rahul Malik. It gives a really solid picture.
And stepping back, this report, it pulls together a lot of info. You've got the hard data, but also the informed opinions from key industry people.
Right.
Kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding some pretty complex stuff.
Absolutely. And look, this isn't just shop talk for fashion execs. Our goal today is to pull out the bits that really matter to you. We want to help you see how these economic shifts, the tech advancements, and, our own changing habits, how they're all coming together to change your fashion experience.
Hopefully some aha moments.
Yeah, exactly. Without getting totally buried in jargon, ready to jump in.
Let's do it. So what are these core changes? What's going to define the landscape for you, the consumer, in the year ahead?
Okay, first up, let's talk money. The economic landscape. Seems like the slower growth we saw in 2024. Well, it's likely sticking around for 2025.
Yeah, not exactly boom times ahead, it seems.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is where the profit growth is expected. We talk about economic profit, basically, the real profit after all costs.
Right, a bottom line.
For the first time since 2010, and we're excluding the weird COVID years here,
Yeah.
the entire increase in that economic profit for 2024, it's predicted to come from the non-luxury sector.
Wow, really? The entire increase?
The entire increase. Luxury brands, usually the big profit engines, they're actually facing margin pressures. Demand is softening there.
That is a huge shift in the balance, isn't it? So the high end might be, feeling some headwinds, but the more accessible stuff, that's where the real financial action is.
Seems that way. And it connects to how executives are feeling. They're not super optimistic about consumer sentiment.
How pessimistic are we talking?
Only about 20% expect things to actually improve in 2025. So that caution, it reflects this broader uncertainty about, well, how much people are willing or even able to spend.
Right. Inflation isn't maybe the top worry like last year. Central banks might lower rates.
True, that pressure is easing a bit.
But there's still this cautious feeling.
Definitely. And interestingly, brands seem to be shifting focus. It's less about just cutting costs now and more about driving sales growth.
Ah, okay.
They're banking on selling more items, volume, rather than just hiking prices again to fuel growth in 2025.
Which makes total sense, right? Because it feels like a lot of us, especially middle and lower income folks, we're pretty resistant to paying even more.
Exactly. There's a limit. And this expectation that volume, not price, will drive growth shows they get that consumers are, really price sensitive right now.
So how are they responding?
Well, in response, a big majority of execs, something like 65%, they're planning to adjust their product assortments.
Right.
Meaning including a wider variety of price points, trying to appeal to a broader range of shoppers directly.
Okay, so more budget-conscious consumers, brands trying to meet that demand with more options across the price spectrum. That tracks.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears. Where's all this stuff actually coming from? Sourcing, supply chains? Sounds like big changes there, too.
Oh, absolutely. That traditional, strong U.S.-China trade axis, it's evolving, becoming more, multipolar is the term they use.
That's polar, meaning
Yeah.
more players involved.
Exactly. Countries are actively looking at different places to source their goods. It's not just the default anymore.
And we can see this in the actual import numbers, can't we? U.S. apparel and textile imports from China, They dropped, what was it, 6 percentage points between 2019 and 2023?
That's right, a noticeable drop. And a similar trend in the EU, though slightly less, about 3 percentage points down.
That's pretty clear evidence of a shift. So for someone like you or me buying a shirt, does this mean we might see...
Actually, yes. This move away from China, it's driven by a few things. Costs are rising in China, labor, production, that's a big one. There's also, geopolitical tensions, trade barriers. They're playing a big role.
Right.
So that's leading to more focus on nearshoring.
Nearshoring.
Yeah.
Sourcing closer to home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Latin America for the U.S. market, Turkey for Europe. And we're also seeing definite growth in other Asian hubs.
Yeah.
India, Vietnam, Bangladesh are becoming much more important.
It feels like those trade issues, supply chain disruptions, they've just ramped up significantly since, what, 2015 or so?
Dramatically.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding the absolute cheapest place anymore. Reliability is huge now in this more complex world.
So it's more complicated than just cost.
Oh, much more. And it's not just economics and politics either. Sustainability targets, government regulations,
Yeah.
they're increasingly factoring into where brands decide to make things.
Ah, the sustainability angle, too.
Yeah, there's growing pressure to think about the environmental footprint of the whole supply chain.
So it all boils down to building supply networks that are, yes, cost-effective, but also more resilient, more adaptable.
Precisely. The goal is to avoid those extremes, either warehouses full of stuff nobody wants or empty shelves where the hot items should be.
Right, the inventory nightmare. And I guess technology must be playing a huge part in making these supply chains smarter.
Technology is absolutely critical here for managing inventory better, minimizing waste, reacting faster. It's essential for that agility.
Got it. Okay, let's switch focus again. How we actually find the things we want to buy. Product discovery. It feels like the online world, with its endless choice, has somehow made it harder, more overwhelming.
That's a central challenge now, just the sheer volume online. It's easy to get lost.
Totally.
And this is where AI, artificial intelligence, is becoming really crucial. AI-powered curation, personalized content, smarter search, tools for both us shoppers and for the brands.
And the industry sees this. You mentioned, what, 50% of fashion execs see product discovery as the #1 use case for generative AI in 2025.
Yeah, okay, half of them. That tells you where they think AI can make the biggest difference for you, the customer, right now.
That's huge.
And what's also interesting is you're seeing these newer AI companies pop up, names like Constructor, Daydream.
Okay.
They're kind of redefining product search, making it more personalized, understanding natural language, even using image recognition. It's way beyond just typing keywords.
Like having a super smart personal shopper built into the search bar.
Kind of, yeah. And it's not just the startups. Big multi-brand retailers like Zalando, they're investing heavily in generative AI too, for finding specific things, but also just for inspiration.
Finding stuff you didn't even know you wanted.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget social media.
Oh, yeah.
Platforms like TikTok, Pinterest,
Yeah.
their algorithms, their AI content tools, they're massive for discovery now.
It's wild how quickly a scroll can lead you to your next purchase. Okay, so AI is changing online discovery. Now, who's actually doing the buying? Sounds like the industry might be overlooking a pretty important group, the silver generation.
This is a really critical point, actually. Customers over 50, the silver generation, they're not just growing faster than other age groups globally.
Oh.
They also account for a huge chunk of fashion spending. It's a demographic that, frankly, fashion is often ignored, focusing mainly on younger shoppers.
And the money is there, right? This group often has more wealth, drives a lot of spending growth.
Disproportionately so, yes. Overlooking them, it seems like a massive missed opportunity for brands.
Definitely.
And their shopping habits can be different. For instance, US and EU, they're more likely to get inspired in actual physical stores.
Interesting.
In the EU, they tend to prefer multi-brand retailers. But then in China, they're actively using social media like WeChat for discovery. It varies.
So you can't just paint them with one brush. A one-size-fits-all approach is definitely out.
Absolutely not. Brands really need to rethink how they segment customers, move beyond just age, look at shared values, preferences, things that connect people across generations.
Right.
Tailoring the marketing, the channels, even the products specifically for this group. It could be a game changer for brands who get it right.
Okay. Now, related to who's buying and how, let's talk value. It feels like more of us are being really careful with our money, leading to trends like, well, dupe mania.
That focus on value for money is undeniable. You see it clear as day in the growth of resale, the off-price sector.
Right. Outlets and consignment.
And yes, dupe mania. This demand for affordable alternatives that look really similar to premium or luxury items, it's a major trend, especially, as you said, with Gen Z and younger millennials.
It feels like the stigma around buying the affordable look-alike, it's lessened. People are actively seeking them out.
Very much so. It's become almost a savvy shopping strategy for some.
So what does that mean for the brands selling the expensive originals? How do they compete with a good dupe?
It means they have to work harder to justify that premium price. They need to be crystal clear about why their product is worth it. Is it superior quality? Unique design? The brand heritage? What's the specific value driver?
And they need to make sure that resonates with their customers.
Exactly. And it also means thinking about integrating value into their whole approach. Maybe offering their own certified resale program, for instance. That's becoming more common.
Right, controlling the secondary market a bit.
It's about embedding that value thinking across the board, really. It's crucial now.
Okay, so despite all this digital focus, AI discovery, online dupes, physical stores still matter, especially for that silver generation we talked about.
They absolutely still matter. Physical retail is still a key destination for discovery, particularly for shoppers over 50. But the role of the store is evolving.
It's not just about racks of clothes anymore.
No. It sounds like the human element interacting with good store staff, people who are knowledgeable, helpful, that's becoming a real differentiator.
Ah, the service aspect.
Huge. It drives customer satisfaction, conversions, loyalty. That personal connection counts for a lot.
So retailers need to invest in their people again. Training.
Definitely. Trading staff, well, giving them product knowledge, but also using tech like RFID, AI tools to handle routine tasks. Free them up to actually talk to customers.
Let them focus on helping, not just folding sweaters.
Yeah, exactly. Make the experience more than just a transaction. And using data to deploy staff smartly when the store is actually busy, that's crucial too.
Right. Ultimately, the store visit needs to be more than convenient. It should feel like a celebration of the brand.
That's a great way to put it. A celebration, an experience, something memorable that you don't get online.
Okay. Let's swing back online then, because it sounds like even the established online marketplaces are hitting some turbulence.
Yes, after a tough time for luxury e-commerce, now the non-luxury online marketplaces are facing challenges too. Stock prices declining, questions about whether their business models are sustainable long-term.
It costs more to get new customers now, right?
Yeah.
And the return on ad spending is down. That sounds like a tough squeeze.
It is a very tough combination. And those first-wave online fashion sites, they're losing ground.
Losing ground to who?
To newer, often lower-cost, high-growth players, but also just to traditional retailers who've seriously upped their own online game.
So what's the path forward for these marketplaces? Consolidation. Focusing only on profitable orders.
Probably a mix of things. Definitely focusing on profitable orders, maybe exploring new avenues like B2B services. Consolidation is likely, yes.
And for survival.
Survival means really maximizing customer lifetime value. Personalized experiences, great loyalty programs, top-notch service, making sure the customers you do have stick around.
Keeping them loyal.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about a segment that seems to be bucking the slower growth trend. Sportswear. Still going strong.
Oh, yeah. Sportswear market is still growing faster than the overall fashion market. But the really interesting story within sportswear is the rise of the challenger brands.
We're talking Hoka, Asics,
Yeah.
those kinds of brands.
Exactly. They're taking significant market share from the established giants. The report calls them the Big Four.
And the challengers are actually expected to generate more than half the segment's economic profit in 2024. That's incredible. More than the incumbents.
That's the forecast. A huge shift in power. They've done it through faster revenue growth and better profitability.
How? What's their secret sauce?
Often it's smart marketing, focusing on specific communities, leveraging celebrities or influencers in ways that feel, authentic,
Yeah.
less corporate.
And investors are noticing this success.
Oh, definitely. Investors are bullish on these challenger brands.
So for the big established sportswear companies, what's the countermove? How do they compete?
They need to diversify their own offerings, find that tricky balance between mass appeal and cultural cool, keep investing in product innovation, and be really strategic about distribution partnerships. Stay connected.
It's a real battleground then.
Yeah.
Okay, another persistent challenge. Inventory. Having too much or too little. Still a big headache.
Massive headache. Inventory management is still a major struggle. Brands are caught between excess stock, which kills margins, and stockouts of popular items, which means lost sales. both are bad news.
And with margins already under pressure, plus that sustainability push to reduce waste, getting inventory right is more crucial than ever.
Absolutely critical. The pressure is mounting from all sides. So there's this growing emphasis on end-to-end planning excellence,
Yeah.
using data much more effectively. Better forecasting tools, being able to adjust orders dynamically based on real-time sales, optimizing the whole network.
And it sounds like this isn't just one department's job anymore. Merchandising, sourcing, logistics, they all need to work together, break down those silos.
Exactly. It requires real collaboration across functions and a mindset shift towards being more dynamic, more responsive in buying and managing stock. Less static planning.
A whole new operating model, almost.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, finally, let's touch on sustainability again. It's been such a big topic. But it sounds like maybe consumer willingness to pay extra for green products, it hasn't quite materialized as hoped.
Well, the urgency of the climate crisis hasn't gone away, obviously. That's critical. But translating that into consumers consistently paying a premium for sustainable fashion, that's been tougher. The immediate business case isn't always obvious.
Which has led some brands to scale back.
Unfortunately, yes. We've seen some brands dialing back on previous sustainability commitments, which is, well, concerning.
But ignoring it long-term isn't really an option, is it? With climate change costs rising, potential government action?
No, it's definitely not a viable long-term strategy. Sustainability has to remain a priority. The focus perhaps needs to shift towards more cost-effective ways to decarbonize.
Like what?
Things like really collaborating with suppliers on energy efficiency in factories that can save money and cut emissions, and investing in material innovation like true textile-to-textile recycling.
So practical collaborative steps.
Yes, long-term commitments to suppliers, working together as an industry to tackle the big bottlenecks. That's what's needed for real change.
Got it. And just quickly before we wrap up, what are investors looking for now? What makes a fashion company attractive in 2025?
The focus has really shifted. Investors are prioritizing profitability. A strong profit formula, not just chasing top-line growth at any cost.
Makes sense.
They want to see a clear brand identity, real pricing power, the ability to charge what you need to, and a deep understanding of who the target customer is.
And that luxury slowdown we mentioned, does that signal a wider shift in spending? Maybe towards experiences over things?
That's definitely a possible interpretation. It's something investors are watching. And while lower interest rates might eventually create some opportunities, investors are likely to be pretty selective. They'll be looking for truly unique businesses, strong brands with that omni-channel presence, good online, good offline, and a compelling story that connects with people.
Profitability, brand strength, customer connection. Okay. Wow, that was a lot.
It was.
So just to quickly recap the big takeaways. We've got non-luxury showing surprising strength, supply chains diversifying globally, AI revolutionizing product discovery.
The rise of the silver generation as a key market, the intense focus on value and dupes.
Right. Physical stores becoming experience hubs while online marketplaces face disruption, the sportswear battle heating up with challengers.
The absolute need for inventory excellence, sustainability remaining critical despite challenges, and investors demanding profit and strong fundamentals.
Phew.
What's really fascinating now is thinking about how these trends might intersect, create something totally new.
Like what?
Well, imagine AI discovery tools getting super sophisticated at understanding the specific tastes and needs of the silver generation.
Okay.
And then seamlessly guiding them towards products that offer real value, maybe discovered during a really great experience in a redesigned physical store.
AI discovery plus silver gen focus plus value plus store experience, all converging.
Exactly. What other unexpected combinations could emerge as these different forces bump up against each other?
That's a really cool thought to leave people with. It makes you wonder what totally new shopping experiences might be right around the corner. So for you listening, we really encourage you to take these insights and just, mull them over. Start noticing examples of these trends when you're out shopping or browsing online. How might these big industry shifts actually influence your next fashion purchase, where you choose to spend your money?
Because ultimately, staying informed about these deeper shifts, it gives you a really valuable lens, not just for understanding clothes, but for understanding the broader forces, economic, tech, social, that are shaping the world all around us.